Hello friends, I'm Brian, and this is Gizmo Board Games. Today I'm coming at you with a just short top 5 list. And that list is some of my gamer pet peeves. And this is my personal pet peeves, and if you've played with me, you've probably seen them in action. And if you haven't, maybe you share some, maybe you don't, I don't know. But for me, these are the things that just kind of grind my gears, so to speak. Just the idiosyncratic little things I personally do or have a problem with. And you're welcome to do things your own way with your games or in your own groups. But if you're in my groups, you probably definitely run into at least one or two of these. And maybe if you're one of those people watching this video, you can try to avoid becoming a victim in the future of one of my pet peeves, I suppose. Alright, so let's get into it. So the first pet peeve of mine is something I know everybody who's played with me and helped me clean up has seen me do, and that is putting the game boxes back right. For me, that means that both sides of the box are right side up. You don't have the front one way and the back the other way. And I can pull a random game off my shelf. In fact, I'm going to do that right now and show you what I mean. So the game Brew here, right side up on the front, and I can turn it straight around and it's still right side up. That's all I mean. I just like to be able to know that it's going to be readable no matter which way I turn it. So all my games will be stored like that. Once the lid boxes come on, I will always look at the bottom before putting the lid back on it just to make sure it's the right way. And I don't really ask my game mates to do that, but they'll definitely see me make the swap if they put the lid on upside down. So that's just one of my little pet peeves. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't mean anything. It's just, I don't know, one of those, I guess, OCD things that I am just straddled with, I guess, for lack of better words. But I just like to be able to pull the game off the shelf and know that I can keep it the same direction and be able to read both sides of the box. So that was my number 1 pet peeve. All right, my number 2 pet peeve, and this is definitely another idiosyncratic one, but that's stop stealing my color. Luckily, with one of the game groups I play with, everybody kind of has their own colors or they don't care. But I know one of the people I play with routinely likes to steal my color. I like to play with purple. I don't know why. My daughter plays with purple, and I will, she's my daughter, so if purple's an option, she gets purple, and I usually take blue in that instance. But in my game group, which is usually a bunch of guys anyway, it's kind of weird for someone else to want purple, but it happens, and it's happened before, and it, I guess, annoys me a little bit, but it's nothing major. Obviously, it's just a token color, but it does grind my gears a little bit when someone takes purple, because that's not a common player choice in most games anyway. So when it is a choice, I really like being able to play with the purple, especially if it's my game and you're at my house. All right, so number 3 is when someone invents rules along the way, I guess is a good way to phrase it. When you're playing a game and you're come to a part of the game where somebody does something and you're like, are you allowed to do that? Can you do that? And they just say, oh, well, we've always done that. Well, that's great, but what's in the rules? What's the rules say? There are rules. The game was designed around a bunch of play testing, and they've determined the best strategies and the best way to play things. And so if you're inventing things, I guess that's fine for your own play, but if you're trying to teach a game to a new group or trying to play with people who know how to play the games by the rules, then you probably shouldn't be playing with house rules. And that's just one of the things. If you're unsure, just read the rules. I refer to the rules a lot, and I hate doing it because it slows down the game, but if you want to get it right, then sometimes you just got to do that to make sure everybody's playing the fair and in the correct way. And I'll still miss from rules time to time, but for the most part, I try to make sure everybody's on the same understanding. And that is just refer to the rules. Don't make up your own along the way. All right, my 4th pet peeve, and this one happens quite a bit, especially when people find out that I'm a board gamer, and they might have played a game or two, or I've introduced them to it. But that's when somebody buys a new game or shows up with a new game, and I'm more than willing to play it. But if I'm on a limited time, we've got a game night that we know we only have like 2-3 hours total for the game time, and you're showing up with a game that we want to play, and it's still in the cellophane, that's not good. If you've got a new game and you want to play the game, take the time, take it out of the cellophane, read the rules. You don't have to punch out the pieces. I'm not asking that. We can do that when we're getting ready to set up, whatever. But at least do a once over of the rules, because it slows the game day down if we've got to read the rules first. So don't come out with me with, let's play this game, and unwrap it, and we got to figure out how to play it. That process should have already happened before you're trying to introduce the game to the table. That's all I'm saying. And usually with my games, immediately when I buy them, I take them out of the cellophane. That's just one of my quirks too, I guess, that I've seen others that, keep them in the cellophane until they're ready to play it or ready to at least read through it. But me, I like to see what I bought. So when I get the game, I open it up immediately, and then a lot of times at that point I'll also read through the rules, or at the very least I'll read through the rules when I know I'm going to play it soon. And even if it's when I've read through the rules a while ago, I'll still reread through the rules if I think it's going to come to the table. On top of that, I will also usually set up a quick 2-player game and do a once through a round to make sure I know kind of the flow of the game, and if I'm going to teach it, I kind of know what it looks like to be played. So even if it's not a 1-player game, I still kind of play it solo, through a round or two, just to make sure I've got kind of a grasp on how to play. Maybe not on how the end game works and stuff like that, because I'm not going to play through that long. But at least if I can teach the general game flow and have a feel for what it looks like and how it plays, because I've done a walkthrough on my own. I'm not asking everybody to do that, but at the very least, it should be out of the cellophane, and you should have at least flipped through the rule book so you have some idea of how to play this new game you're bringing to the table. All right, and my last pet peeve that I came up with for this list, and maybe I'll come up with 5 more in the future and we can do another video. But the last one is not paying attention during the rules. And this one happens pretty frequently. It seems people get distracted by their phones, or maybe the TV's on, or whatever the case is. And I'll literally just stop explaining the rules. And I've had people look at me like, "What are you doing?" I thought you were explaining the rules. I'm two of you were watching the TV. I'm not going to re-explain the rules or have you miss the rules, because sometimes they're already complex and confusing, and we're going to have to re-go over it again as it's happening in the game. At the very least, I want you to have heard it once along the way before we go diving in. And so if you're not paying attention to the rules, that really irks me, because it's a detriment to everybody if someone's still going to ask all the questions about the rules that have been covered ahead of time. And like I said, that doesn't mean we're not going to cover those rules, especially in a more complex game, as we go. But you should at least have heard that I said you get points for money at the end of the game, because that's something pretty easy to remember and kind of plays into, hey, how do we win the game? Oh, we get points for the money at the end of the game. I missed that when you're explaining it, even though it's very clear. You get points for money at the end of the game. So, and I have had that happen before. And that concludes my 5 pet peeves for board gaming, or board gaming in my group, or whatever you want to call it. And if you've got your own, please comment below. I might make a follow-up video sometime in the future when I think of more. Until then, I hope you have a good day, and if you like what I have, please hit the like button, thumbs up, and subscribe if you haven't already. Tell your friends if you think they'll enjoy this content, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.